Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Let's wait for a couple of minutes to more market participants to join. So some of them are a little bit late. So let's hope everything will be fine, and we will start immediately. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Nice to see you, so many attending. Welcome to GET Baltic webinar, first webinar. My name is Karolis Bagdonas. I'm a senior key account manager at GET Baltic, and today I will be the moderator of this event from the start till the end. And I hope that probably approximately 2 hours will be a good opportunity to expand your knowledge. So starting with in May 2023, GET Baltic became a part of EEX group, and since then you probably heard from me and my colleagues many times talking about integration. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going with this series of webinars to provide you with the updates of the integration process and guide you through the transition phase. So again, welcome to GET Baltic webinar number 1, introduction, admission, and access models into EEX. So before starting with the presentations, I would like to invite Gintaras Buskys, GET Baltic Chief Business Development Officer, for welcome remarks. So Gintaras, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Karolis. So good morning, everyone. Dear customers and partners, as Karolis introduced, my name is Gintaras Buskys, acting as Chief Business Development Officer at GET Baltic since 2015. So today, both GET Baltic and EEX teams are very excited to have all of you here. And but before going to today's agenda, first of all, I would like to use this opportunity to say thank you to all of you for the growing community of exchange participants, for joining us and for your trust. So I hope that most of you had a chance to follow our exceptional results in 2023. So that happens because of your efforts. As far as you know, that the traded volumes on the exchange has reached all-time high with a 31% increase to 9 terawatt-hours. The market share of GET Baltic increased as well, representing 23% of the total demand in the Baltic-Finnish region. So that was exceptional results for GET Baltic last year. And definitely that wouldn't happen without the growing attractiveness of the region, which resulted in the higher number of registered participants and at the same time active traders. So in 2023, the exchange was joined by 9 new participants, including international traders from different countries like Poland, Bulgaria, Netherlands, Denmark, Czech Republic. So resulted into overall 120 registered participants, of which 70 were active traders. So once again, thank you for those brilliant results, and we hope that this year would be even not worse and better. In the framework of the planned integration of the Baltic-Finnish gas markets into EEX, today EEX and GET Baltic teams are pleased to provide you with the updates on the integration process and guide you through the transition phase. So this first webinar will focus on the admission and access options for the trading at EEX with subsequent clearing via European Commodity Clearing, ECC, from end of first quarter of 2025. So thank you once again for being here. I hope that you will have a productive time today. And so please be active and use this opportunity to ask questions of my colleagues at GET Baltic and EEX. Thank you.
Thank you, Gint. Thank you, Gintaras, for nice words. It was always great to hear what's happened during last year. So now it's time for our speakers. Just to remind you, in case of questions, please write down them in section Q&A, and we'll be happy to answer them. The questions will be answered after each presentation, and in addition to this, in the end of all presentations, we'll be having an additional Q&A session. So not to waste your time, I would like to invite Ieva Cigana, GET Baltic Head of Project Management, and Henrik Sørensen, EEX Senior Business Developer, to present the first topic, building markets together. So Henrik and Ieva, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Karolis. So Ieva and I, we will give you a quick introduction. First of all, the background for the partnership between GET Baltic and EEX, and then we will also go into the approach, what we're going to do, product integration, product mapping, and then we will get a little bit to the timeline and next steps, what needs to be done. If we can go to the next slide, just so that you have our names. So I won't say much more, but it's today I'll be speaking from business development for gas markets at EEX, together with head of project management at GET Baltic, Ieva Cigana. So with this short introduction of the first section here, I will already hand over to Ieva, and then we will get back to me on the product integration just after a little bit of background from Ieva.
So thank you, Henrik, and thank you, dear colleagues, Gintaras and Karolis, for such a good introduction. And kicking off the first presentation of today, with the next slide, I would like to do some short of kind of a recap on the reasoning behind the GET Baltic and EEX partnership. So when we saw how many of you have registered to this webinar, most probably not all of you had the chance to be in the GET Baltic Clients event, which was held in December last year. So we thought that it would be good to align between all of us the level of knowledge behind the GET Baltic and EEX partnership. So throughout the last 10, 11, soon to be 12 years of GET Baltic activities in the region, we, together with you, our clients, TSOs and NRAs, have been expanding our activity geographically, started in Lithuania, then Latvia, Estonia, and Finland. We expanded in terms of tradable products, introduced implicit capacity allocation mechanism, and still, as of today, our region is ranked as a liquid and incipient hub. And the main reason behind that is that we, as we would see with the next slide, we have a very well developed and functioning spot market. So we compared a bit what we have at GET Baltic with what products, what services are offered by the hubs, which are considered as advanced and emerging ones. So we confirmed for ourselves we have a very well developed spot market. You all are trading there, so you know how active it is, and as Gintar has mentioned, what good results we achieved last year. And on the long-term market, we have only a monthly product, which trading on which is, well, let's say not so active. And when comparing to other hubs, we see that there are quite a number of other products which are currently lacking at GET Baltic, such as calendar years products, seasonal, quarterly products, and one of the reasons why we cannot, like, let's say, offer, or if we will offer it, most probably also will not be actively traded because of a pre-collateralization requirement in the current GET Baltic setup, and because we don't have a very common part, a clearinghouse, which is usually goes hand in hand with the exchange businesses. Also, what we are lacking, we don't have OTC trade registration. We don't offer spread trading, balancing products. We don't have algorithmic trading solution or registry services. So this missing parts became a very kind of a guidance for us to which direction we should develop gas trading in our region. And yeah, that kind of a short story. Why, with the next slide, I would like to present why now from now on GET Baltic is building markets together with the EEX. And yeah, with this being said, also we would like to share that as of Q1 2025, it is decided to launch trading on EEX trading infrastructure, and with that to decommission trading platform of GET Baltic. With this launch, you will be offered one trading infrastructure, one onboarding process, and one set of rules, as it is in all major European gas hubs. And with the next slide, I would like to share also that this will bring you a new and modern trading infrastructure, long-term products, as well as indices. Again, clearinghouse will be available, and all together with that will create new trading opportunities for you. And with this being said, I'm handing back to Hendrik to further introduce those new opportunities and elaborate a bit more on our partnership.
Yes, thank you. Indeed. So what does it mean? How will this translate into something that's relevant for you? This I will try to map out a little bit now. First of all, main result or the first result was that GET Baltic is now the newest company within the EEX group family, and this is a transformative journey that is already underway. And maybe the first visual imprint of this is what you see here now on the slide. There is a new logo. Maybe some of you have already seen it. This is, of course, a visual move, but nevertheless quite important, as this signifies the strategic move of strengthening the ties of GET Baltic and EEX, and the pan-European gas markets already operate by EEX today. We believe that this will unlock new potential and new doors to develop the Baltic-Finnish gas markets. And here at this picture, you see the launch of the new logo at eWorld in Essen last month. And this new logo and corporate design has been implemented to follow the same system and logic as the rest of the EEX group, so that it signifies this integration and the strong connection to the EEX group. And maybe if you you look at the background here behind Gitre and Ginteras, you will also see the words "We build successful and sustainable commodity markets worldwide," and this is perhaps really the essence of EEX Group. We strive to operate markets as successfully as possible, of course, but also across our locations. Now with Vilnius counting 21 locations across 4 continents, and we believe that developing these markets together with you as trading participants, market participants, but as well with other stakeholders close to the commodity markets, we achieve the best outcome. And here I also want to go a little bit into the integration as such, that ultimately the goal is to pool the markets of GET Baltic and EEX, and by doing this, unleashing significantly increase in liquidity for the Baltic-Finnish markets, as well as also increasing trading activity on EEX's existing pan-European gas offering. On the next slide, I will dive into our European gas market operations. Here you see already the map of our existing markets. We have more than 100 trading products across 10 hubs today, not including GET Baltic yet. Of course here this include also the most liquid hubs such as TTF and THE. An important aspect of trading at EEX is our locational spreads. Locational spread is the feature in the trading system that enable you to both sell in one hub and buy in another hub at the same instant with guaranteed execution. And this is so simply a feature in the system, a trading strategy for you to achieve this if you are a shipper on both hubs, balancing area responsible in both hubs. You can then trade with this feature in the trading system. And what this means is that you actually can link to 2 markets. So if you are a participant who does this, you are helping the other market participants who are maybe just interested in one market area, as the liquidity spills over from the more liquid markets to the less liquid markets. And this is actually quite an important feature for our markets. It accounts for more than half of our volumes in 2023, as it creates this possibility to trade the price difference between the 2 markets. On the next slide, so here I will let you enjoy the volumes on your own. You could also, I also here mention again the volumes of GET Baltic, which are quite impressive. Congratulations on this. I wanted to already now on this slide go into a little detail on what are the trading products that we offer at EEX. And here, of course, we have the spot markets. On some hubs we have hourly products, but the standard is within day ahead, weekend, and of course what we call individual days. So this is something you will be familiar with. Later on we will have also a webinar that goes into these details. And then we have our futures products. We have futures with physical delivery, and they are traded as months, quarters, seasons, or years. And the quarter, seasons, and years, as you approach delivery, they cascade in to 2 months. And then you have a full month of delivery. And we also offer financially settled futures on some select hubs, where you can then trade the same market area, but not with physical delivery. You have financial settlement based on our XE index. So now, after having zoomed out a little bit here, I want to zoom in on GET Baltic and the GET Baltic markets and describe what we are working on in terms of this integration. So let's go to the next slide. What we see here is a mapping of the current products at GET Baltic with the products that we are planning to launch for the GET Baltic markets on EEX. So with the go live, as has already been mentioned, towards the end of the first quarter of next year, we will continue to offer the within-day contract. There will be virtually no change here. There will be the day-ahead products, same fashion. And then the next 30 days, or this prompt-style product that exists at GET Baltic today, will unfortunately not be offered at EEX. This is something that we, of course, would be keen to offer at EEX today, but unfortunately, we cannot offer this already from next year. What we can, however, is to extend the futures offering. So we will, today at GET Baltic, you have the next 12 months. We will extend this to the futures products that you saw on the previous slide. So you have the months, seasons, quarters, seasons, and years. And of course, also rest assured there will be also remit reporting integrated into our service offering, as well as data services. And of course, we calculate indices. And we also plan to offer implicit capacity allocation. If you're already trading, I'm sure you're very familiar with this concept, so I don't need to go into details. But also here, there will be more details on this in one of the later webinars. So based on this, I would already go to the next slide. Here, you in little further detail, you can see what it is that we plan to offer for the three market areas. I split it here in within day, day ahead, and futures. This is how we at EEX think of it. This comes from the regulatory background. So we have the within day, the day ahead, or the day contracts including also weekend contracts, and then the futures. And what you see here is that we also include locational spreads. So there will be spreads between the three market areas towards the Dutch TTF, the German THE, the Austrian SEC, French PEG, and the Danish ETF, making it possible to execute this strategy that I explained before, available in the trading system, where you can buy in one market area and sell in the other with guaranteed execution. And on the physical futures that we will launch also for the market areas, you will get the next 12 months, the next 11 quarters, next 11 seasons, next 6 years, so that you will be able to hedge your positions many years in advance. And so this is a quick overview of the products that you can expect to see, the trading products. On the next slide, I will also mention a little bit about the price signals and the indices that we will calculate for you, as we also see this as one of the most important tasks by the exchanges, to provide reliable price references for market participants to act on the market with the most knowledge and transparency. And of course, here we will all extend the indices that we already calculate today for our standard markets. This we will also calculate for each of the three market areas of GET Baltic. This includes our within-day reference price that will be calculated on a daily basis. We will calculate on business days for every delivery day our EOD index, calculated in the late afternoon. Then we calculate our volume-weighted EXI as well every day, based on the transactions throughout the day, and every business day for every delivery day. And we calculate our NDI, also a volume-weighted index, that will be calculated every day for next day. And then on the futures, we also have some indices, the daily EEX and the monthly as well, and a monthly index that you will also become more familiar with in later webinars. This we will offer for the GET Baltic products as soon as they are launched on the EEX rulebook, and and the GET Baltic indices that you receive today will of course continue to be calculated as long as the trading products are traded at GET Baltic. So this, with this, I would already go to the next slide. Now we are getting a little bit into the technical side, but just to give you a hint on what to expect and the choices you have to make. We distinguish between the spot markets and the derivative markets. The derivative markets, including our futures, our physical futures, they are traded on different backends. The different matching engines are separated, completely separated, but with your front-end client, you will be able to see both of them in one view, one workbook on your computer. But it's important to know that the matching backend is separate, and this has implications for the choices when you choose which front end to use. I will not go into every little detail here, but just to give you a hint on this, and then I think my colleagues from SAIL will be able to give you much more details on this, and as well in later webinars also. So with this very quick walkthrough of what you can expect, I already want to give the word back to Eva for the next steps and the timeline.
Hello. Hello once again. So with the next slide, please. I would like to finish the presentation by going through the quite, let's say, high-level preliminary roadmap, or let's call it tasks list, which we all together have to conclude until the end of Q1 2025 in order for you to be ready to trade on the EEX trading platform as of go live. So today we are kicking off a webinar series with the goal to build knowledge on your side on the admission and trading at EEX. So after this one, we will have presentation on the life cycle of a transaction, where colleagues will also present to you the access models to the clearinghouse, and later on the presentation on admission documents. And what you can see from this timeline, that in the upcoming 2 quarters, the webinars will continue with quite intensive schedule. And with the upcoming ones, we will also cover the trading principles on EEX side, the clearing, settlement, nominations on ECC, European Clearinghouse. We will touch upon trading infrastructure, regulation, traders exam, and basically all core information which is necessary for you to start trading on EEX. The next tasks on your side, once after today's webinar, you will have more information on access models. You will need to decide which clearinghouse access models suits your business best, and depending on that, sign up either with a clearing bank for NCM admission, or with settlement bank for DCP admission. And we're planning that start of admission procedure or onboarding procedure will a bit differ in time depending on either it will be NCM or DCP admission. So for NCM, we are planning to kick this admission by the end of Q2, and for DCP end of Q3. This start of admission basically means that we, depending on your decision for which option you will choose, you will receive the onboarding package via email. So onboarding package is basically a set of documents forms, which you have to fill in and submit to ECC and to EEX to start a registration and sign off the membership agreements. So once the admission documents will be provided for you, or also just to let you know that we at GET Baltic will always be here and ready to support you bilaterally and provide any necessary consultations for that. And once after the end of Q2 and Q3 this year, once we will end up with the webinar series in the autumn period, we will be ready to offer Q&A workshop sessions also to support you and consult you on the admission process as well as trading. So apart from preparation to register as a member, you will also need to decide on connectivity options. As Henrik with the previous slide presented, there are several options how to access trading systems. So yeah, with the next webinars, you will also get more knowledge on that, and then we will invite you to decide and start thinking of setting up this front-end client connectivity. And the last item, as it mentions here, trader exam, so something new and what we don't have at GET Baltic. So all clients, all traders admitted for trading at EEX have to pass a trader's exam, basically to prove that they have a necessary knowledge to be active on the exchange. But if you are kind of now active on GET Baltic, so it more or less will be like a formality for you, but maybe in that process you will also get some new knowledge. So once all those tasks will be concluded, we all should be ready to start trading on EEX trading platform end of Q1 2025. But yeah, once again, just to mention that all GET Baltic, EEX and ECC specialists, we always be ready to be by your side and to guide you through the process and assist with all necessary preparations. So with this being said, I'm handing over back to Henrik to give the final word on our part and then conclude with the next presentation.
Thank you for outlining what's to come, and I think this gives a very good overview of what to expect. You will see there are a few to-dos for you as a trading participant as well that you need to go through. But here, GET Baltic, EEX and ECC, we are there with you all the way and will assist you. So rest assured. And I think in the next section of our webinar, we will actually go into maybe the most urgent task here, and that is how you will access EEX through ECC. So maybe we can already go to the next presentation. In this next section, we will shift the focus from what can be traded and what's going to happen to what happens when you have traded, so the post-trading, the life cycle of an exchange transaction and access to EEX. Here, it will be me presenting again together with my colleague Anna Baumgarten from ECC Clearing Strategy. Here, we can already go to the next slide, just so you have also in mind who is Anna. So Anna will take over after me, give you some information about the two access models that we already mentioned to ECC. But first, I would try to make the link between the exchange trading that you are already familiar with, and then ECC, our clearinghouse, and the reasoning behind having a clearinghouse in addition to the exchange. As it is today, before you can trade natural gas contracts on EEX, you must first be set up for clearing and settlement through ECC. And here maybe it's important to mention that ECC is a clearinghouse for EEX, but also for other exchanges. On the next slide, I will show you this relationship between the exchange and ECC, and the relationship between the exchange, ECC, and the trading participants. This diagram sums it up. It's a little stylized, but even yet maybe still some complexity here. If you are familiar with trading at GET Baltic, you would have a relationship to GET Baltic. GET Baltic nominates directly to the transmission system operators, and that's that. Here there will be a few extra layers, and this is to ensure the security of all transactions. Making sure that if there is a default of a trading participant, this does not ripple down into the rest of the market. So here, when you deal at the exchange, you are not dealing directly with the other trading participants, but you are trading on the exchange, and your counterparty is ECC. In fact, ECC is counterparty to all transactions. ECC is in this sense the keystone holding the exchange trading together and insulating you as a trading participant from counterparty risk. And this is to ensure that transactions are correctly processed and all obligations are met. When you insert an order, so this is the flow on the diagram, when you insert an order on the exchange and it's matched with another order from another trading participant, the exchange, here in this case EEX, will send a trade file to ECC. ECC processes this and sends it for nomination with the TSO. And the TSO then knows what to expect if you are going to withdraw or inject accordingly to how you trade on the exchange. At the same time, ECC will ensure that you get paid. So if you are a seller, that you get paid for the gas that you sold in the exchange, and they do this through a clearing bank. Anna will shortly explain difference between the different setups here, but just to map it a little bit, you will have to opt for a leaner version, a prepayment setup that is good for spot trading, or you can opt for a setup that involves a clearing member, and under this setup you will also be able to trade derivatives in addition to spot. And here, just to mention what is a clearing member, it's a bank that is also admitted as a participant or as a member on ECC, the clearinghouse, but they are your middleman, so to say. They know, they understand your business and your specific risk, and based on this, they're able to set your limits and provide maximum trading flexibility for you when you trade both spot and futures. If you're not already familiar with all the terms in this diagram, do not despair. This is what we are here to explain. So I think we can already go to the next slide, which sums up the purpose of ECC and ECC's role in exchange trading. ECC is in essence the counterparty, making sure that you do not have to worry about each of the other participants and the risk of one of them defaulting. And this gives you the ability to trade with many more participants without this worry, and through this access to the exchange order book, and you are guaranteed delivery and payment for the contracts that you trade. And that is clearing in a nutshell. Now, Anna, my colleague from ECC, will explain the membership options in more detail, and also map for you what your choices are, what you have to consider before you make a choice for one or the other option.
Thank you, Henrik, and also warm welcome from my side. Good morning to everyone. My name, you heard, is Anna Baumgarten. I am working for the Clearing Strategy Department of ECC, and in our role, we also take care of the access options to the clearinghouse. So in general, this is maybe different than what you are currently used to at GET Baltic. You will not only have to become a member of EEX if you would like to participate in trading on exchange, but also a member to the clearinghouse, that is ECC. Legally, these are really two different memberships. Process-wise or operationally, you will not feel like two different access processes, but this is all handled by our member readiness and onboarding colleagues. So you will only have this one onboarding process. But as I said, legally, these are really two different access options. And in this presentation, we will cover the two access models that we currently offer at ECC. So at the blue part here, the right part to the clearinghouse. And on the next slide, we have illustrated for you the two different access options that we have that also Henrik was showing in his diagram before. And I would like to start with the first, so the one on the left-hand side with the non-clearing member model. This is our, say, standard access model, which gives our customers a huge trading flexibility. And on the right-hand side, you can find the direct clearing participant model. This is a model that is actually only allowed for trading on spot markets. These models differ mainly in the involved intermediaries, in the roles of the involved banks that are very important also for us as a clearinghouse. So for the non-clear member model, in order to participate in clearing, you will need to find a so-called general clearing member, that is a financial institution that is onboarded at ECC as a clearing member, so a direct participant at the clearinghouse. And these clearing members, they have an important role for us because they not only perform the payments for the transactions concluded on exchange, but they also act as a guarantor for all of the transactions that their customers, their clients, what these clients do on exchange, they guarantee towards us as a clearinghouse. And then the NCM model, therefore, we have really a tri-party relationship between the non-clear member, which is the trading participant, the general clear member, the financial institution, and us as a clearinghouse. On the other hand, the direct clearing participant model, so our spot market only access model, the trading participant is really also in a direct relationship towards the clearinghouse. We would sign also a direct bilateral agreement between each other, and there is no intermediary involved in guaranteeing the transactions of the trading participant. However, we of course also need to have kind of a payment infrastructure involved in order to perform the payments of the transactions. And for this, we have established a dedicated infrastructure that fulfills our needs as a clearinghouse for really secure exchange transactions. We have called this so-called forwarding bank and connected bank infrastructure. I will tackle this in a few moments when I go into more details of the access models. Maybe on the next slide, we find a bit more details on the non-clearing member access option. So on the top, you can find the two roles that general clearing member performs for us. I already said this, the general clearing members are very important for us. They perform this guaranteeing function. They are important interconnectors and intermediaries, because we as a clearinghouse, our core business model is not to evaluate the business models of all of our trading participants, but this is something that originally banks, financial intermediaries are very good at, and therefore they take over this, these doors towards the clearinghouse. And for us as a clearinghouse, we do mainly interact with the clearing members, and you would mainly interact with your bank as your gateway towards the clearinghouse. We have listed here all the general clearing members that we have currently onboarded at ECC. It is 24 banks in total. We have started discussions with each of these clearing members in order to understand who of them would be willing to also market their services towards GET Baltic customers. So in general, you are free to go to each of them and approach them and ask, would you be willing to onboard me as a client for clearing at ECC? But this is something that's still in the making and that we would like to share once we are at the part that we can share really a list of banks that are actively willing to market the services also to you. What is maybe also important to know for you is what are then actually the requirements to us as a trading participant when I am a non-clear member? And the answer is this depends. It depends really on what is the risk profile of the clearing member, what offers the clearing member. Can be very individual. That depends, or that concerns the actual collateral that is provided. That is also relating to interest payments, for example. Is interest payments being granted from the clearing member for cash collateral? That can be very individually, and just needs to be found out in individual talks to the clearing member. We as a clearing house, we perform so-called margin payments towards the clearing members. So we collect based on the historic exposure of the clearing member and of the clients of the clearing member. So we collect margins as collateral from the GCM. And what is maybe positive to say is that for a non-clear member, you can benefit from netting effects. So for example, if you participate in certain natural gas markets as a net buyer, but act as a net seller on other markets, like for example on power spot markets, then really the exposure will be netted from us as a clearinghouse, and then potentially you can benefit from these netting effects also as a non-clear member, depending on the risk model of the clearing member. That is the main thing about the NCM model. Now, having said this, I would like to move on to the direct clearing participant model on the next slide. The general concept of the DCP model is completely different because here we as a clearinghouse, we cover the risks also for a default of a member that is onboarded as a DCP. And in order to cover these risks, we use pre-trade limits. So limits that are implemented in the trading system, and a member is only allowed to trade, so to participate in buy transactions up to this certain amount. And this limit needs to be fully collateralized. That means in order to be granted a certain limit amount, you would have to provide collateral to us as a clearinghouse. And then we would, based on the collateral that you gave us, we would calculate the available limit, and we would send this to EEX towards the trading system. This is an automated process that is done with us and the exchange. And the only thing that needs to be done is really the provision of collateral. We currently accept cash in euro or British pounds, as well as bank guarantees as collateral. What is also important to say is that the payment infrastructure, as I mentioned, is we cannot accept every bank for the payments that you perform to us. And the reason for this is that we as a clearinghouse have to ensure that payments done by you are insolvency proof. That means in case of insolvency, we have to make sure that no insolvency administrator can come to us and say, hey, this money belongs to us or to me as an insolvency administrator, give it back. And by the infrastructure that we have implemented here, this is not possible. And to explain to you what we have implemented actually, we use ABN AMRO as our payment bank. So ECC maintains a bank account with ABN, and any direct clearing participant also needs to have a bank account either at ABN or at a commercial bank that is connected to ABN AMRO. ABN AMRO has a network of more than 300 banks worldwide. We have on our website the list of banks that we are currently working with and that work very well with us. But this list is not complete. That means there are further banks that are connected. And it is also possible to onboard further banks to ABN. But that's something that I will explain in a few more seconds. What we're also currently doing is that we are aligning with ABN and also settlement banks based in the Baltic countries and in Finland, which of these banks would be also willing to become a settlement bank for DCPs based in current GET Baltic markets. One limitation I have to say is that the DCP model is only available to certain countries that is approved for the DCP concept. That's also mainly due to the reason that we have to really look into the national insolvency law and check if these insolvency laws are made in a way that we can really make sure that our clearing conditions can apply in these local jurisdictions. You can find the current list here. We are constantly extending this list. So there are, for example, in 2024, further countries planned that we will always publish recently on our website. All right. By having said this, I would like to move on to the next slide, which compares the two access models a bit in more detail. You can maybe also have a look after the webinar on each and every section. I just would like to highlight the main differences between the NCM and the DCP model again. So in general, in order to participate as a non-clearing member, you will have to find a clearing bank supporting you. You have to get into a tri-party relationship. Whilst on for the DCP model, this is really a direct clearing membership at the clearing house. But also the DCP model is really only for spot markets. So if you already know that you would like to participate in the derivatives markets that Henrik has shown you, the definition of what is a derivatives market, then please consider the NCM model as it's the better choice for you. Also, risk management is very different. The risk management towards the non-clear members is performed via the clear members, via so-called margins. It might be that the clear member also sets certain limits for you as a non-clear member, but this is really up to the clear member. On the DCP model, however, limits are very important for us. This is our main risk management tool. So there are certain limits in the trading system which have to be fully collateralized by you as a direct clearing participant. All right. In order to make a pro-fund decision on which model suits you better, there are certain open questions that are still in place. Maybe on the next slide, we have summarized these open questions that we are currently working on as GET Baltic, EEX and ECC. So first of all, I have to mention that the DCP model is not yet approved by the regulators, but we are very confident that it will be approved. So there is no sign that it will not be available as of the beginning of next year. In addition, we are currently discussing the price level for EEX and Baltic-Finnish markets. So there was a question in the Q&A section that was asking exactly for what are the prices for current GET Baltic customers in the future EEX setting. We will let you know as soon as we have this. We are in the final stages of confirming also with the management board. And last but not least, we would really like to help you in order to find a bank that can give you this access towards the clear model that's for both the general clear members, but also for the settlement banks. For the general clear members, as I explained, we are currently approaching them, and we will share with you the list of banks with you as soon as we have this. For the settlement banks, for the DCP model, we have a set of banks that are connected to ABN, and we will share this also shortly with you, but we can also extend this connected bank list. So the major prerequisites are that this bank must be a participant in the European Central Bank payment system, Target 2, or formerly Target 2, now it's called T2. You have a link to the direct T2 participants here on the slides. So just have a look if your preferred bank might be also a T2 participant. And then your preferred bank would have to go to ABN to ask for a connectivity agreement. If this is the case, so if you have a certain preferred bank that is not yet connected to ABN, please consider that this can take up to 6 months in order to agree on such a connectivity agreement. Maybe this is important for your admission timeline. And last but not least, one final slide for some hints for your admission at ECC. Or maybe one hint that is not on the slides, but please don't get overwhelmed by the information that is available. I know that it's really a lot of information that you have to digest. If you have anything that is unclear for you, really reach out to Karolis and his team to get an answer to your question. Our sales colleagues are always happy to help. We try to be as transparent as possible, but this also means that there's really a lot of information out there. Included here some links to the ECC website, so our general website, and also information on the access models. In the next few days, we will also include information on even better comparison of the DCP and the NCM model for the spot markets. So feel free to check it out in the course of the next days. There will be further information available. Once you feel familiar with the access models, again, please consider also really your long-term strategy. It is possible to change, for example, from the DCP to the NCM model. If you say, okay, from the moment I'm actually feeling well with just starting on the spot markets, but maybe in 1 or 2 years, I would also like to trade derivatives trading. If this is already your strategy, then we would definitely recommend to already start as a non-clear member. Even though it might be difficult at the moment to find a clearing member, we would recommend to go this route because even though it is possible, there are certain switching costs for you involved because we have to set up you with a new ID then when you switch from the DCP to the NCM model, and this then maybe it has to be also reflected in your backend systems. Yeah, so that's what we heard from our sales colleagues, that switching costs are definitely something to consider for you as a trading participant. And last but not least, the onboarding can take some time, so even several months sometimes. So we recommend starting early to making your head around what is the better option, and also starting early in finding an appropriate bank that supports you in your admission. So either a general clearing member or a connected bank. And because it's so important, I would like to stress again, you're not alone. You're really supported by our sales colleagues, and just give them a ping, just write them a message. They're always happy to help. And yeah, by having said this, I would like to hand over again to our Q&A masters, if there are any questions in the Q&A section.
So let's see what kind of questions will be. I hope you can hear me well. So here it is. The first question was, could you list the clearing banks in the Baltics? But I think it was already shown in the slide. But if you could, Anna, provide again that slide, it will be really helpful for market participants.
Yeah, so we have listed all general clearing members on this one slide that you saw. You can also find our general clearing members on the ECC website. That's the most current one. And as I said, we are approaching these banks and ask who of you is actually willing to market its services to the Baltic countries.
Okay, thank you very much. I see one more question. And I think it was already answered as well, but let's, just it's always better to repeat and one more time to get having that in our brain. So what will be the pricing of the models, and what will be the minimum cost to participate compared to today's situation?
Indeed, the price tag is very important for your decision, right? Therefore, we are working with high pressure on really finalizing the pricing decision, and we will share this as soon as we have this also with the trading community.
Just one more. Let's see if any more questions are here.
Yeah, maybe I can read this out. How often is the settlement of spot transactions going to be made? Because currently at GET Baltic, the settlement is performed on a weekly basis. We at ECC perform the settlement of payments daily. That means for each transaction concluded Monday to Thursday, we would conclude on the next day, so Tuesday to Friday. For transactions concluded on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then we would conclude the payment on Mondays. And we have a booking cycle, so our booking card always lasts from 4 p.m. to 4 p.m. of the next day. And then at 4 p.m. the next booking day would start counting.
For current time, I do not see any more questions. By the way, what I've already mentioned in, let's say, 1 hour ago, that if customers, market participants are having questions, feel free to provide them in the Q&A section. And in the end of our presentations, we'll be having additional time for this, and we will try to answer to your question. So in any case, feel free to provide it. Okay, and we'll be happy to answer it. So thank you, Henrik. Thank you, Anna, for the presentation. It was a lot of stuff, and I have to remember everything. So, by the way, it's very informative, and I hope that it will be very new and educational for all of us. So maybe let's jump to another part. We see that 1 hour is already passed. So I would like to invite Paulina Moisei, EEX Customer Care Officer, who will present us the third topic, admission process for GET Baltic members. Paulina, please, welcome.
Thank you for the introduction, Karolis. Hello, everyone. My name is Paulina, and I work in Customer Care Department at EEX. In the next slides, I will present the admission process for GET Baltic members. My presentation will include the overview of the admission process and onboarding package for the admission of non-clearing members and direct clearing participants. I will also present the specification of some requirements. The next slide, please. Let's start with the overview of the admission process. Every admission process at EEX starts with an initial contact with your key account manager. At this stage, it is important to discuss the type of products and markets you wish to apply for, as well as the type of membership, DCP or NCM. It will help us to prepare a personalized package of admission documents, as they differ depending on the asset classes you're interested in. Your CAM from GET Baltic will assist you in completing and submitting the forms. Once completed, the pre-filled forms will be forwarded to EEX Customer Care Department. We will verify the documents, provide the feedback, and give you our green light for proceeding with signatures. The signed forms should also be delivered to our team, as we are responsible for forwarding them to relevant departments, such as ECC Member Readiness and EEX Reporting Services, in order for you to have a streamlined process. The process for the ECC onboarding consists of two main steps: the Know Your Customer process and the ECC technical setup. The KYC process is the longest part of the admission because, based on the information provided in the KYC questionnaire, supporting documents, and other information, ECC will perform checks. Once the KYC process is completed, the ECC will proceed to the technical setup. At this stage, the shipper codes for gas products will be verified, and clearing member will be contacted to give their final approval for the admission. The setup on the ECC side ends up with the receipt of the ECC approval. The ECC approval and the confirmation that the reporting setup is completed allow us to proceed to the technical setup on the exchange side. The technical setup will include the setup of your traders in the trading system. On the day of admission, our market operation department will send gas spot logins to your traders, and you will receive an official email notification about admission at EEX. The next slide, please. Now that we have covered the admission process, we can review the requirements. Both applications, NCM and DCP, will require you to submit certain documents. We have divided them into 4 categories: Common, ECC, EEX, and reporting forms. First, let's look at the documents for the NCM application. Common forms contain the documents needed for the Know Your Customer process. We have one main KYC form called KYC Common that needs to be completed by each applicant company. And then, depending on the asset classes of your interest, you should also submit the respective KYC appendix form. The available asset classes are gas, power, emission. Along with the KYC forms, you must provide supporting documents such as commercial registry extract, financial statement, and shareholder structure. Details of the supporting documents will be covered later in my presentation. ECC forms include the main agreements that are required for the admission as NCM. One of them is a tripartite agreement that needs to be signed by the applicant company, its clearing member, and by ECC. You also need to provide a form with your VAT details. In addition, to apply for gas products, you must provide a gas dedicated form. We have three options, and you should only use the applicable form for your situation. The possibilities are as follows. TP05A form, in case your company is a shipper and you have your own balance agreement with the TSO. TP05B form, in case you will be using a third-party shipper code, which is another company's balance agreement with the TSO. And we have TP05C form, in case you are not a shipper and wish to use the closeout procedure. Please note that this option is only possible for future products. You need to close your positions 5 days before delivery. Under EEX category, we have the main form called Application for Admission as Exchange Participant. In this form, we will ask you to provide some details of your company, such as name, address, managing directors, and you will also need to appoint some contacts for the specific roles. You are also asked for the order of the technical access, where you only need to select the order of the respective screen. As you can see, we do not have many forms on EEX side. This is all thanks to the fact that we have transferred some of our paper-based applications to the member section portal. At a later stage of your admission, we will order your access to the portal and send you detailed instructions on the steps to follow. This will differ depending on the markets on which you're applying. However, the main and applicable to both spot and derivatives customer will be the submission of a trader application. Please note that traders will need to pass a trader exam, and for that, we will be put in contact with our training department. We will provide more information within our onboarding package. Last but not least, let me present you the reporting forms. The agreements you need to provide also differ depending on the market in which you plan to apply. For clients applying only for the spot market, it is sufficient to submit a remit agreement. For clients applying for spot and/or derivatives, you must additionally provide the MiFID, MiFIR, and EMIR agreements. The MiFID, MiFIR agreement is always mandatory for clients active in the derivatives market, as we, as an exchange, we are obliged to report to the regulator. In the case of an EMIR agreement, obligation to report lies within the market participant. You can check with your clearing member if they provide this service already. If not, you can use our reporting services. Next slide, please. For customers applying for DCP membership, EEX and reporting requirements will be the same as for NCM. Regarding KYC and ECC forms, it will be provided at a later stage. The next slide. Thank you. On the last slide, I will present an overview of some specific requirements for admission at EEX. Please note that all supporting documents are only accepted in English, French, and German. Commercial registry extract cannot be older than 3 months on the day of received by EEX. Your financial statement and independence auditor report should be from the last fiscal year. Please note that if translated version is not signed, then signed version in a native language is also required. In case of young companies without financial statement, you can provide a business plan, including information on the team, strategy, financial plans for the upcoming 3 years, and funding structure. Shareholder structure, shareholders chart, must include all percentages of ownership up to the ultimate parent level beneficial owner. The minimum capital is 50,000 euro. The capital will be checked in the commercial registry extract or in the financial statement. In case your capital is below the required amount, we will provide more information within our onboarding package how to fulfill this requirement. In terms of signature requirements, all KYC and ECC forms must be hand-signed. EEX and reporting documents can be signed either by hand or digitally. In case of digital signatures, please ensure that you submit documents in a non-editable format. No originals are required. Scans will be sufficient. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Paulina, for a nice presentation. It was also very informative, and I hope it will give more understanding for the customers of what kind of documents to be fulfilled. And I will see a lot of questions in the Q&A, but maybe let's leave it after the last presentation, and we will try to answer all of them. So the last presentation will be by my own, and I would like to present mapping out future actions for market participants. So if the guys who are helping with the presentation, so yeah, I will be ready. So by the way, please, the next slide. Henrik, Anna, and Paulina and Yeva has shown all the steps what should be done, and so my presentation is some kind of a summary of all the speeches what was provided. So in general, I would like to provide you the next steps. And you could see that the first of all, for the market participant, they have to find out the relevant bank for the ECC access model. So one of them it should be a clearing member for non-clearing membership model, or a settlement banks for direct clearing participant model. And the next stage, which is waiting for the market participant, it is the admission packages. So there will be what Yeva provided, that for NCM, the admission package will be available in the end of Q2 in the 2024. And for the DCP, it will be in the end of Q3 of 2024. So after that, the customers, market participants have to fill in all the documents that were related in the package. So first of all, it is know your customer forms, ECC forms, also EEX forms, and also then reporting forms. And of course, I think that market participants will probably have some questions with the forms, or maybe everything will be clear. We don't know. So in any case, me and the GET Baltic team will be a supportive team who will help you with the consultations of these documents, how to fulfill them. And of course, if you need some help, so do not hesitate to contact us. And after it, you will be ready to provide. I'm sorry. You will be ready to send all these documents to EEX as customer care team. So maybe next slide, please. So to remind again, one more time, you have to decide which business model is probably the best one for further trading. So first of all, if you are deciding that you would like to have spot and futures, So the best it is non-clearing member model, and if you are deciding working only with the spot products, so this direct clearing participant model is the best one. So next slide, please. And also what I've already mentioned, that here is a very simple point of contact slide where you could see that if you got questions and need some initial consultations with the documentations of the forms, so please contact the GET Baltic sales team. And after it, all these forms should be fulfilled forms should be provided to EEX customer care teams. And the next slide, please. So in general, what is already mentioned, we could say that the admission process could be divided into 5 blocks of the whole process. It is the application submission, the exchange traded exam, technical connection, then recognition by ECC, and admission by EEX. So what I'm expecting that for the first customers, we could have this application submission in the second quarter of the year 24. And for the last customers, the admission process should end in the end of in the first Q of 25. So please, next slide. So in general, what is my recommendation? To overall that the whole process can take from 4 to 6 months. And so you could see that the first steps, it should be with the finding the right clearing member or settlement bank, so depending on which model you would like to have it. So I would like not to waste your time and to start doing searching for these banks, and you could see that the overall admission process will start in the second quarter. And the last call for submission of the documents, it is November 24, because it will be the shortest period to provide all the relevant documents. So you could see on the red arrow, if you start searching on these banks only after receiving the NTM or DCP packages, it will be a very short time to prepare for you and also for our team just to check all these documents and to go through this process. So I'm just one more time recommend you please start this process right now. And the last slide, please. And here is the last slide from my side, as I already mentioned in the start of our webinar. I'm sorry. That we already started the series of this webinar, and in the upcoming months we'll be having more additional webinars. So the next one is expected in the mid-end of April 24, and it will be a deep dive into general trading, settlements, regulations, and etc. Others webinars will be related to as well deep dives into admission documents for NCM and DCP, also trading system. But nevertheless, we will this information will be up to date, and we will send you the invitations. So not to be rushed, but please have in mind that the next webinar will be in the mid-end of April in 2024. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. And maybe we could jump into the Q&A section. What I've mentioned, we have more time, and we will try to answer as much question as possible. So guys, feel free to write more if you see, and here's a nice opportunity to answer this question in this webinar. So maybe I will overview the Q&A section and see what kind of questions were provided. Let's take a look. Okay, I found it. It was 11:11. What are the requirements towards the rating of the bank guarantee issuer? Maybe the colleagues could help with this question lively.
Maybe Ines, you can switch. Thank you. We have all the information on bank guarantee providers on our website. Maybe if the colleagues can show you where to find this information. So we have a few of our guarantors on the ECC website. It's not all of them. But if you would like to add a new guarantor, then what we would need from you is the legal identifier code of the bank and the recent financial statements, or a link to the recent financial statements of these banks. I mean, we can share also the link in the Q&A section here so that you can also get informed deeper, because I'm not sure if everyone is interested in this DCP access and this guarantee stuff. But as I said, all of the information is available on the website. I saw that there's a further question in the Q&A that I would like to take, and that is related to the equity requirement of 50,000 euro. Yes, just please share the link again. Maybe then can see on the website where. Sorry, the colleague is preparing the share of her screen and shows where exactly you can find the information on the bank guarantees. I think this might be helpful.
Yeah, Anna, you mentioned one more question. I've already found it, and just let's see what is what means the minimum capital requirement 50,000 euros. Is it the share capital or actual equity requirement?
Yeah, this question is also answered on our website, so you can find how we calculate our equity. I just read it out here. So equity of at least 50,000 euro is required, and the equity is calculated including the subscribed capital, capital reserves, retained income, less any losses incurred in the course of the year in intangible assets. We are also sharing this link in the Q&A so that you can read it on your own.
Maybe just one more thing to add, what could be relevant for market participants in case if this minimum capital requirement is less than 50,000 euros. So any kind of, let's say, how to call it, solutions, how to achieve it. And, you know, just we understand that it could take some time, but maybe some tips for market participants, what should be done.
Yeah, indeed. You can also check out for bank guarantees. So in case you miss this 50,000 equity requirement, you can ask a bank to provide you a guarantee, and based on this bank guarantee, or even a parental guarantee would be okay in order to top up the subscribed capital.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, thank you, Anna, for the answers, and also checking the other questions. What, if correctly seeing in line of them, who should be contracted to get a demo of JAL for exchange software? Also, what will be the cost model of JAL for exchange software? I think that with question we can leave it for right now, and as we said that there will be additional webinars. So this will be related into the next webinar. So I hope we will get this answer later. Another question, it is, what will be a trader's exam fee Maybe colleagues know, or maybe we should jump again that these questions also will be in the next webinars.
I can maybe give a quick answer on this one.
Yeah.
So the trader exam fee, the standard fee is 450 euro, and this is unfortunately an exam that we cannot waiver. It's a regulatory requirement that you pass this exam to be able to be admitted for exchange trading at EEX. But of course, we are aware that every euro counts. So we are taking a holistic view on all the costs that you would encounter in this transition. And when we set the fees, we will consider also this, and it will be part of the package that we will present to you once it's final. But the standard fee is 450. Maybe also just to add, because I also think is also related to the cost question, which I completely understand is really, really important. Exchange for Joule, there is no additional cost once you are admitted and you have an account to trade with the exchange. You can use the exchange for Joule. Here, it is called Joule, and it is exactly the same technical client as when you are using Trayport Joule. But you can only see EEX. You will not be able to see any other trading venues, just EEX. Here you have no additional cost. If you want to have also brokers or other trading venues on your Joule screen, then you need to have a contract with Trayport, and you pay Trayport for that. But through EEX, you can get the same front-end client, Joule, at no cost, no additional cost than what you are paying to the exchange, but with the limitation that you can then only see EEX. So just to let you know that you are not forced to have a contract with Trayport.
Henrik, I have 2 more questions that it's also related to the traders exam. The first one, it is the EEX traders exam will be a GET Baltic specific one, or will it be the current standard one?
It will be the standard exam. It is based. I think it's some multiple choice questions. You have various. You already know the questions. I think there are 180 questions, and you will be asked some of them in this exam. So it's not if you are a trader already. It is, as my colleague said earlier, it should be rather a formality to pass this exam, but it's not GET Baltic specific. It's for EEX trading.
Okay, and also another question that it is related to the traders exam. Does all traders need to take the traders exam? ETS is not a company but person specific.
So, sorry, say it again. If it's company specific?
Does all traders need to take the traders exam? It is related to the person specifically, or for the company?
It's both, you can say. So to be admitted as a company, you need to have at least one person, one physical person who passed the exam. And this person can then have trader assistance. And the trader assistant does not have to pass the exam immediately, but you can run for 6 months without passing the exam. But one person, before you can start trading as a company, at least one person must pass the exam. But you will have time to pass this exam, so we will invite you to sign up for the exam when we send out the onboarding package. And then you would have about 6 months to look at it, which should be more than sufficient time to pass the exam for all the traders that you would be keen to have trading. But indeed, if you get a new employee, they don't have to pass the exam immediately. They have time to get familiar with exchange trading. They have 6 months where they can even be admitted under the responsibility of one of your colleagues that have already passed the exam.
Okay, thank you, Henrik. It was for your help and also with the answers provided. I see another question. so maybe I will read it. It's quite a long one. Maybe I've just missed the information during the presentation. In case some party is already the EEX member, active in other gas markets, the admission process will be easier. Such party will just need to apply for access to GET Baltic products, ? Is that correct? ? And are there any additional charges, fees foreseen for access to GET Baltic if you are already active in other gas market at the EEX? I think that the question should be for Paulina, correct?
Yes, so regarding active EEX members, in case you would like to just extend your membership to GET Baltic product, the process is much easier. We just need one of the respective TP05 forms, the ones that were presented during my presentation, and we also need an email request from an authorized signatory or central coordinator, but of course we can share the specific requirements via email. And regarding the additional fees, since you are already active on gas, there are no additional fees.
Okay, thank you, Paulina, for the answer. And let me see if any questions. So guys who are attending our webinar, so feel free to write the questions and we will be happy to answer it. Let me see one more time if any more questions launched.
Maybe in the meantime, Carlos, we have Roman here also on the call. Colleague.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And
I haven't noticed, so wanted to invite our colleagues from EEX. So Roman, if you're ready, so just I give you a word to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Roman. I'm working in gas sales at EEX. I'm mainly in charge for German clients. So a few words firstly about the trading exam. So there is a trading exam, which was already mentioned. It costs 450 euro, but it's actually quite basic knowledge about EEX. So if you want to get some more like detailed knowledge, not only about EEX, but detailed knowledge about also other markets like power spot markets, power futures markets, carbon, cladding. So we do also, our training department do also offers detailed training called comprehensive exchange trading. So it's 2 days where sessions organized offline, several cities around Europe, where also like online session being organized. So just keep in mind that if you are interested to get very deep knowledge about into EEX world, so you can also go into this comprehensive exchange trading. And maybe second thing is about clearing banks, because I work directly with clients from Germany, and actually I'm quite often approached by clients which clearing bank I should take. Can you support me with this decision? And I think so there is a certain algorithm you can choose. So basically, I would say the first most important thing is that you have to, well, it was already mentioned several times, but definitely the process of searching and signing with a clearing bank, it takes quite a long time. So you have to start the process quite early. Secondly, once you start the process, you have to decide if it's if you will be active just on the spot markets or you will be also active on futures markets. So if you would like to be active also on a futures segment, there is no way around. You have to go via the clearing bank. So this DCP model mentioned before is just for spot markets. And what I will also recommend that basically once you start looking for clearing banks, I would recommend also approach several ones, because every clearing bank, we cannot recommend any clearing bank, but we can we can just advise the client that you can approach several clearing banks because they have different price models. Like some have just a fixed fee, some have a fixed plus variable fee, transaction fee. So it makes sense to get several offers and compare it. Also, maybe one of the banks from our list is you already have some contractual relations with this bank. And basically, so you may already approach this bank. About DCP, as already mentioned, so the house bank or connected bank must have connection with our forwarding bank, ABN AMRO. And actually, what the situation that we have, that sometimes the banks they even don't know if they have this connection to ABN AMRO. So if your bank doesn't know if they have a connection, so you can always ask ECC colleagues so they can double check. So we need just the name of the bank, and we need the SWIFT of the bank, so it could be checked. And I think that's it about the. Actually, I just looking in the chat, and there are several questions on the exam. How long is the trader's exam valid? When does it expire? So in fact, there is no expiration date. Once you have best trader exam, you can trade all X markets. So you can trade not only gas spot, you can also trade, for example, power futures. You can also trade carbon. That doesn't expire. So if you're active trader on the market, it will stay forever. Just when you out of market, let's say above 10 years, you maybe have to repeat it. Okay, I think from my side, like a practical approach, looking for clearing banks, that's it. If you have more questions, happy to take it.
Thank you, Roman. It was really valuable. One more time, just hopefully that all the answers were asked regarding the banks and also with the exams. I'm checking again one more time with the questions if they are ready. So let me see. Let me see if okay. So probably one of the last questions, and if, by the way, as I mentioned, if you see that you're still having questions, so feel free to write down them, and we will try to answer. So the one of the question it is looking forward to following webinars where cost models could be introduced, as a lot of strategic decisions will have to be made based on that. Maybe Henrik, you could answer this question.
Yes, of course. We are aware of this and understand that the decision to go with one model or another, or which markets to trade, of course, depends on this. And that's also why it's very important for us to make sure that before we present any of the costs to you, that it's a comprehensive package where we considered everything, making sure that that you are, of course, choose to trade as much as possible with us, because that's what's important for us, and we want to encourage this, and that's why the package is still on the way, and when it's ready and final, we can share it.
Yep. Thank you, Henrik. Let's again check the questions, if any. Okay, don't be so shy. Just if you see last minutes to provide the questions, so we are ready here. Okay, seems to be that there is no more questions. So thank you very much, market participants, for the questions. Thank you. Still somebody was very quick. Maybe let's checking again what is here. Each trader has EEX license. Will it suit for EEX, or should EEX traders exam still be taken? Roman,
Maybe
you are the expert.
maybe I can
or
take
maybe
this
Paulina.
one. Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
Paulina, please.
So yes, EEX trader exam is also valid. In case you have passed EEX exam, you can send us your certificate, and we will have it validated.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Paulina. So probably one more time I will check any more questions. I will wait for several seconds, and then seems to be that we are going to the end of our webinar. Yes, so I see no questions. So as I mentioned, the first webinar is over. I think it was very valuable and very constructive, and also with a lot of questions. I really appreciate it for sharing. That means that market participants are really interested in the whole topics and what kind of information was provided. So I hope that you will attend and could attend the second webinar, which will be in the mid-end of April this year. And as I mentioned, I highly invite you to start with the process of admission right now. And thank you very much for your participation. It was a pleasure to be with you. By the way, we will share the presentations and recording of this webinar within the following days. So those who could not participate, it will be also a good opportunity to overview all the material. So have a nice and wonderful spring day, and see you next time. And goodbye.